Hello, welcome to Magical Manifestations. My name is Jenna B. Neece. I'm an author, meditation lover, and chronic anxiety sufferer. I'll be your guide on this journey. My mind often gets too busy, so this podcast aims to remove you from reality and let you drift far away into the mundane yet beautiful lands of magical manifestations. Fly on a dragon. Visit a magic teashop. Befriend a fairy. The options are endless. I'm sure there's something for everyone here. Each episode contains 4 parts. Let me open with a brief introduction, tell you what the story is about, guide you through a few short and calming breaths, and then lead you into a state of calmness. Let yourself come and go as you please. Dozing or napping is fine. We always welcome calmness and sleep here. And when you're ready, I'll always welcome you home. A little note to the listeners before we begin. If you are enjoying this podcast, please consider leaving me a review and subscribing or following on your chosen platform. Maybe recommend it to a friend, coworker, or relative you think might benefit from it. I'd love to have them, and the more support I receive, the more stories I can provide you with. If you're so inclined as to monetarily support my podcast, visit magicalmanifestationspodcast.substack.com. If you're listening to this in the month of September 2024, a subscription is currently half off, making it only $2.50 a month or $25 for the whole year. That's less than a cup of coffee. In this story, you go on a mandatory rite of passage. You find yourself pulling a sword from a rock, and with the help of a friend, you discover you have ancient powers within your veins. You are legendary. Okay, it's time to let everything go. Let's get relaxed now. Let's set the mood for calmness. Take a deep breath in and let it out slowly. Let yourself sink into the chair or bed, wherever you are. Feel the points of contact and relax into them. Take another deep breath in now and slowly let it out. Let your eyes close if you can. One more breath. Deep breath in and out. If you get sleepy while I'm reading, that's just fine. Just breathe and relax. The legendary sword. You stand at the edge of the forest. The smell of rain and wet earth permeates the air around you. Drizzle drips lazily from the canopy of lush greenery above you, occasionally splashing on your face, slicking along the skin until it slips right off. The rain has stopped, but the water remains. And the silence. It's so quiet, you can hear your own breath. As the sun slowly peeks through the opening in the branches, a dappled glow drifts down to illuminate the path. Your path. Today, you're setting out on a journey that all must take. Your village holds an ancient tradition that when you are of age and stars align in your birthday month's constellation, you must take the journey into the Forbidden Forest. There, you wander around looking for a sign. It's a rite of passage that's supposed to help you find yourself and your destined direction in life. You aren't sure you believe in this tradition, but it doesn't matter. It's required. Who are you to question centuries-old traditions? As you tentatively take a few steps into the forest, you feel the humidity picking up, the light darkening due to dense foliage, and under your feet you feel the gentle squish of soft earth under the soles of your shoes. You slowly start into the forest. One step at a time, you go deeper. With every step, you feel more overwhelmed by the smells and sounds and the darkness taking over. So you pause, take a deep breath in, hold it for a moment, and blow it out slowly. You feel your muscles relaxing, and you refocus your energies. Deep within you, you feel this rising heat. You don't know what it means, but you pay attention to it. It grows larger, spreading from your stomach to your chest. Then slowly, the warmth spreads down your arms into your face. Then it shifts to your hips, pelvis, and slides all the way down your legs. Soon, the warmth is like a cozy fire roaring inside your body. It empowers you, gives you strength and courage. You begin walking at a solid pace. You pass tree after tree. You come to forks in the path and you follow your gut instinct each time. You feel as if your body is leading you somewhere important, so you walk. The farther you walk, the more you feel drawn to a certain area. You don't know what that area holds. You do know that it feels like you belong there. You feel like everything you've done up until now was leading you here. The warmth cascades through you, and you feel like you are exactly where you belong. As you walk, you start to see the trees thinning slightly. The foliage is still thick and vibrant, green, but if you look closely, there is a light shining through the canopy above. You smile to yourself. This isn't near as bad as you expected. You guess you expected to be scared, to feel all alone. But there's something about this forest that makes you feel at home. Maybe it's the woodland creatures. Maybe it's the way the trees bend in odd angles, making you almost feel like they're hugging you. Or who knows, it could just be that you aren't afraid of the journey. You've always thought it a bit silly. I mean, what do they expect you to find out here? Are you supposed to bring back a rabbit? Is Bambi hiding deep within? Will you finally discover the magic you know runs through your veins? It all seems dramatized. You know you're a little cynical, but sending someone into the woods shouldn't be a life-changing experience unless they have no survival skills. They always say, don't leave until you find what you're looking for. It would help if you knew what that was. To be honest, the forest is absolutely stunning. There must be 100 vibrant shades of green on the lush leaves hanging from the odd-shaped trees. The low light shines down upon you as you stand before the fallen tree, the log bigger than you could put your arms around. You've never thought yourself overly powerful, in physical or mental strength, but you always have been adequate. You've wished to be more, but that's it. It was only a wish. You know better than to believe in a fairy tale. You stop admiring your surroundings. You feel this tug, and your abdomen tightens. You can't quite explain it, but it feels like something is trying to tell you where to go. At first, you consider resisting, but the joyful singing of the birds and the surrounding trees, they comfort you and make you feel like following the urge is just the right thing to do. As if on autopilot, you stagger along the mushy ground, over fallen logs, through marshy areas. You just keep going. Your mind doesn't know where you're headed, but your feet seem to know exactly what to do. You decide to stop resisting. Maybe trusting your body is the right thing to do. Who knows what you might find, or who you might find. The longer you stagger along, the more disoriented you get in the forest. You're no longer sure if you know where you are, but for some reason, this doesn't bother you as much as you think it should. As you approach a clearing, you notice the absolute silence that surrounds you. You stop at the edge and look around at an absolutely unique sight. Bright sunlight shines down on a silvery, shiny metal sword that is stuck deep into a rock. The sword has a golden handle, and what you can see of the blade is silver. It's beautiful, but how did it get in the rock? It would have taken someone with great strength to thrust it into stone. But that's not the only unique thing. The clearing, almost like a meadow, is filled with gorgeous flowers to put off the most tantalizing aroma you've ever smelled. What would you give to lie down amongst these flowers, let their scent waft over you, and just take a nap? But you can't. Something in you knows this is where you should be. Tentatively, you approach the large stone with the sword in it. You circle it almost reverently. The sight turns the blood within your veins into a crescendo of fire that cascades through you. You must get the sword. That's all you know. In a hurry now, you approach the sword. You brace your feet on the ground and wrap your hands around the hilt. You prepare to have to use every ounce of your force to withdraw the sword. But when your fingers collide with the handle, it's like something vibrates deep within you. You give one almighty tug, and the sword is yanked free from the massive stone that was holding it captive. For a second, nothing remarkable happens. But then you feel a deep vibration in you, and you begin to glow. At first, it's faintly noticeable with the light streaming down for the canopy above. But then, the streaks of gold and silver streaming silently along your skin become brighter. You notice that they begin in your hands where you hold the sword. The sword must be magic. By now, your skin is glowing magnificently, and you become the light needed to find your way back out of the forest. Of course, you bring the sword with you. It's yours now. Somehow, you just know that's true. Well, it looks extremely heavy, but it feels as light as a feather in your grasp. And your glow leads you back out of the dark trees. As you approach the edge of the forest, you see an old man, most likely a beggar, with his cart. You approach him, ready to see what he might need before journeying through the forest. While you don't have much, you have more than he does, most likely. But as you near him, his appearance changes. He goes from rags to a magician's outfit. He turns to you and smiles brightly. Well, hello there. You seem to have discovered the sword that tells me a lot about you. I'm sorry, but who are you? I'm just an old magician named Percival. I've seen many things. Let me tell you a story." You nodded him. "Once upon a time, there was a young person much like you. They didn't know much about themselves. They always sold themselves short, until one day they went on their quest. The very same quest you've been doing. On that quest, they were lost and cynical. Deep within the forest, they found a magic wand that pulled them to it. They were mesmerized by the wand. They took it and left the forest just like you. They ran into someone who gave them advice. They were convinced the wand held their power, but it didn't. The power was within them, and the wand was nothing but a vessel to use. And yes, young one, I am the person who found the wand." "I don't see how this matters," you say. "The sword is what's magical for me." "Wrong. Did the sword glow?" You hesitate for a moment. It hadn't. You glowed. "Well, no. I glowed. Why does that matter?" "The power is within you. The sword may help wield it, but without you it's nothing more than metal." Slowly, you nod your head. You have the power. You've known that all along. But sometimes you forget because you're so busy hiding it. "Thank you," you said to the wizard. "No thanks needed." He smiled and vanished. As you stand there, it clicks. You are power. You are light. You are wisdom and courage, and you are legend. As you stroll out of the forest, you see the village elders waiting. They smile as you approach. You hold the sword over your head for all to see. The light glimmers off your shining skin. Thank you for listening. This was a Magical Manifestations production by Jenna B. Neece. Please remember to subscribe and review the episode. It means the world to me.